I can't unsee some of what has gone on since I started reading this book. And I was going to try to record the whole thing before I publish it, but I don't know if I can because if I'm okay, I don't think I'm supposed to wait. I'm receiving so many puzzle pieces, and I don't know, we'll see. But I'm going to jump into session number 20. We are on page 67 if you are following along. This is the Handbook for the New Paradigm, Volume 1. The glory of your nations fade before your eyes, as one by one they are attacked from inside and out. Each is dependent upon the monetary handouts that require handing over mineral rights and other resources as ransom. The money is siphoned off into secret accounts that return to the usurpers as the leaders are deposed or assassinated. The cycles are repeated over and over. Wow, that's kind of interesting. I just heard a statistic this morning that 80 some odd countries have had democratic leaders overthrown by elements within our own government. The people are abandoned by their governments and so must fend for themselves within situations of less and less available necessities and more regulations. Not a pretty picture to behold. So, what now? Let us again consider possibilities that could bring change to this nightmarish situation. Could it be that the forces behind this situation could be creating causes to culminate this planned suppression of the people of this planet that might involve repercussions that are beyond their ability to control? Could there be unknown glitches in those plans, which, if exploited, could cause outcomes not planned? It is indeed not only possible, but probable. Let us consider Y2K as just one possibility. If indeed all of the technological wonders of the basics of power, water, communications, money, travel, etc., all depend upon computers to operate, then so also must the military and conspiratorial communication systems and other wonderful mechanisms of planned use. All of these were constructed by contract. It is well known that contractors deviate from specifications whenever and wherever it is possible to cut costs. It is entirely possible that at least some, quote, off-the-shelf computer chips have been used rather than the special designs that were specified. If those substitutions contain the same date problem as those purposefully in use for creating a chaotic breakdown of your world as you know it now, how will this affect their plans? Since there must be a synergistic exchange of information within computer systems, there may well be repercussions within their own separately created system that will cause chaos within chaos. Portions of their plan may deploy, but in order to establish and then maintain complete control, which is their goal, all must proceed according to plan. What if enough of their plan moves into place for the people to realize the truth? but their own internal chaos allows for what we might call meltdown from within. What if champions of mankind working within may have deliberately placed glitches within their systems? Interesting to contemplate. Let us suppose that the above scenario is true. Now we have what might be called double chaos and exposure enough of the enslavement plan to bring humanity awake. This adds a third layer of chaos. Out of all this chaos, how does the balance tip towards survival of humanity and the planet? There is one more element that must be interjected here. What of those extraterrestrial beings that have been using the power structure they have coached into place? Would the above mentioned chaos serve their purposes? Could they have sabotaged the plans of their own henchmen in order to eliminate them from the game? Do they have in place a plan that overlays the ones that are in place? We might say that the plot thickens. However, we could thicken it even more since we are delving into possibilities when one planet interferes with another to the detriment of the progress of that planet. We have the universal law of attraction at work. Simply stated, what you do unto another shall be done unto you. If you interfere with another planet, then you have given permission for the other planetary forces to interact with you. Aha, does the thick plot begin to come into clarity? Let us hope that your heart just skipped a beat. That's the second time I've heard that today. And real hope has been born within your imagination. We are still left with the dilemma of all that chaos. So let us give a bit more clarity. Once a planet has been interfered with in a direct way, other than an advisory capacity, the inhabitants of that planet may request help in restoring balance and order. Herein lies the key. Help must be requested, and prayer is considered requesting. However, it must be what is called affirmative prayer. Affirmative prayer is entering into the creative mode that is your pattern. And in parentheses here, made in the likeness and similitude of your creator. Humanity must actually come forth in a group focus, in a harmonious creative mode within the upward spiral of the development of individual and planetary evolvement. Now, knowing human nature, there will be those who, when they have recovered from the shock, will immediately want to put back into place what is within their comfort zone. They will desire to take advantage of the situation to create another situation of power over the people, for indeed the cry will be for new, quote, leaders. That would not be evolvement. The next level is based upon individual responsibility. Unless that is at the basis of the new paradigm, the opportunity for the transcendence of this planet and its inhabitants will be lost. The importance of an already perceived outline to be the prayer of requesting help, that's in quotations, needs to be in place to supersede any chances of returning to the old. The help you need to bring this into being will then be assured. This help will not be military in any way whatsoever. It will be the love of the Creator manifested, and shall be genuinely welcomed as it shall interact with the inner being. And the word inner and being are both capitalized, the first initial. So it will be the love of the Creator manifested. Love and Creator are both capitalized there too. And shall be genuinely welcomed as it shall interact with the inner being that is the forgotten direct connection to the Creator. Love connecting and interacting with love shall bring changes beyond your imagining abilities. It is also appropriate to note that on a planetary level, the planet itself shall have a like experience. This information offset your concerns about your futures. Welcome to the winning side. Focus and manifest indeed. I'm going to jump right to session number 21 here. It is time to focus so that emphasis can be centered on the pivotal change necessary for the transition of the project from one phase to the next. This does not indicate that the first phase is already complete. That part, getting the information about the activities of the Dark Ones, is now in motion. From our point of view in watching energy composites, enough movement in the waking up phase is taking place to ensure its continuation. And remember, please, this was published in 2018. I do not know exactly when it was channeled and written. There are enough focused on getting the word out for it to continue within that momentum. Information is being discussed between people now by those reading and hearing the information, as you know, either by face-to-face discussion or through your computer, internet, chat rooms, etc. The critical ripple effect is beginning. In order to keep the momentum now that the wake-up call is ringing, it is necessary to prepare the next step, lest inertia, caused by lack of understanding what to do next, allows for the onslaught of mind-numbing techniques to continue to hold the upper hand. The next step is the choice of the individual to stand forth in determination to detach from emotion of overwhelm and to observe from a space that is beyond the reach of the control techniques. It seems like a small step, but it is critical, for it is the beginning of the separation from the herd, so to speak. It is a step that can be accomplished without the danger that physical resistance would present. It is something that can be done in safety without being detected by the apparently fearsome entities that are striving for control. It is also critical in the process of each individual becoming aware that there is a connection to awareness, a part of self that allows for this observation. It triggers the shift the overstimulated ego function and begins the calming of the ego. This will begin to bring it back into its true intended purpose. This in itself is an empowering experience, for it begins the balance of expression intended in the manifested experience. This is a very critical point. By establishing the observation experience, a change in focus begins to happen in a smooth and easy way. OMG. I have to get my highlighter here, y'all. Bear with me, because that is huge. That is exactly where I feel we are in this moment, or I personally feel like I am in this moment of right now, because that is, and it is the only way forward, right, is through. And so coming to know, changing that focus and coming to know that everyone holds that same empowerment capability also is crucial for me, at any rate, to hold that knowledge as I move through. So back to the book now. How is it? I'm going to read this again, though. Honestly, I do feel to do that. Because this is where I feel like we are right this moment. The next step is the choice of the individual to stand forth in determination to detach from emotion of overwhelm and to observe from a place that is beyond the reach of the control techniques. And the control techniques have sped up, ramped up, and they come from places you really wouldn't even expect. And it is so easy to now, for me, to recognize them and go, oh, okay, I see what you got going there. Right? It's all choices. It seems like a small step, but it is critical, for it is the beginning of the separation from the herd, so to speak. It is a step that can be accomplished without the danger that physical resistance would present. It is something that can be done in safety without being detected by the apparently fearsome entities that are striving for control. It is also critical in the process of each individual becoming aware that there is a connection to awareness, a part of self that allows for this observation. It triggers the shift within the overstimulated ego function and begins the calming of the ego. This will begin to bring it back into its true intended purpose. This in itself is an empowering experience, for it begins the balance of expression intended in the manifested experience. This is a very critical point. By establishing the observation experience, a change in focus begins to happen in a smooth and easy way. By observing myself and being honest with myself about what I see and what I feel, has been made that so much easier. How it is best to begin to fulfill your assignment: by purposefully practicing the process within yourself, you will begin to guide those who are in contact with you that are waking to the knowledge of what is happening all around them. There is a fear element very active in their consideration of this information and how it appears it might affect their lives. It is not easy to contemplate all the marvelous conveniences disappearing from their experience, as well as wondering how they will continue to make a living. It spells total poverty to them. And so it is easier to keep shoving it back to the back of their consciousness, conscious awareness, and not consider it. Oh my God, this is so true. I mean, all of us, including other light workers, we forget that, yeah, we are being told what is, but is it really? However, it continues to pop up into their thoughts like a bobber on a fish line. It is appropriate then to suggest to them that they stand back from the problem and begin to consider what possibilities there are to use the situation to their advantage. Opportunities will present themselves through barter, trades, and other methods yet to be created within the chaotic change period. Since it will be difficult to accumulate material wealth, this will free the creative aspect that is inherent in all fragments of the Creator. Creativeness is the keynote of experience at all levels. Otherwise, none of us would ever have been, quote, thought into existence. The key to all of this is asking for help from the focus of thought that brought forth this experience and holds us in it. Now, I take that to mean my higher self, or that soul, that fragment of the Creator that desired this experience focused through this vessel. That small, subtle, hardly well, it's getting louder all the time for me, but voice that I didn't pay attention to for so long, or I held it in a different way is the other thing too. It was there, but I held it as something completely different. If it were not for that focus, the basic energy blocks, atoms, molecules, and cells would simply fly apart. It seems difficult to correlate the probability of success for an entire planet, with only a few beginning a shift by simply changing their personal perspective, and then encouraging a similar change in those in their sphere of influence. But that is how it is to be done. Just as a long journey begins with the first step, so also is change begun in individual experience. This is especially true when it follows the methodology that is the format for the operation of the laws that govern manifested creation. There must first exist something so that energy may be attracted to it. Quote, in the beginning, there was the quote, thought, and the quote, thought became flesh and in parentheses, manifest. Following the conceptual thought, there must be the desire for it to manifest. To think the thought only does not bring it forth. There must be an emotional desire to provide the fuel for the movement or change of energy from thought into expression. Through coagulation of, quote, attracted energies, manifestation begins. Form includes more than things. It includes situations, circumstances, and stimulation of desire for additional thoughts that support the completion of the desired experience. It is within the creative impetus, once the process is begun, to move toward completion when the purpose in the harmony within the universal laws. The focus desired must provide freedom within the spiral journey of return to the source for all that it will affect. When this is the underlying purpose, then the harmonic of attraction is set in motion with all its subtle power released. It is well to review the basics when a shift in creative focus is to begin in purposeful action of great magnitude. Each and every change in the destiny of this planet is received with great anticipation to the highest, and then in parentheses, finest vibratory level of awareness. Those changes that will lead to the establishment of balance and harmony receive input of supporting energy that strengthens and hastens the process. It would be well to acknowledge this with gratitude as part of your meditations. The attitude of gratitude creates a return flow and allows for greater exchange of this supporting attentive awareness. And I found myself singing my gratitude song this morning while I was driving. So I find that kind of interesting too. Beginning a change within a flow as established as the planned hijacking of this planet is the most difficult aspect of the project of returning this planet to the safety of harmony and balance. It has required considering responses to the recognition of distorted energies into action, and further to ferret out its source and its purpose. Then that understanding had to be put into written and spoken word, and in finding ways to disseminate the information. All of this is to be accomplished within a flow of negative intention that not only is in motion, but also can be compared to a fast-moving river. Yet few are able to accomplish this seemingly impossible feat through intent fueled by desire to save your fellow beings and your planet from being exploited. Now, if we can continue the process with that same level of intent and desire to move many through the information about, quote, them to the next step, all shall continue toward the desired end result. And I'm going to pause here because I've said for some time on my other channels that the truther community and the spiritual community had to come together because they are also pieces of the whole. I've said that for a long time because they have puzzle pieces. There are puzzle pieces, nuggets of truth everywhere you look, but not all of it is, right? That's why it's so much a quest. Each being has to put together what is real and what isn't for them. Much of step one was accomplished without surface consciousness of where the knowledge and understanding of the situation engulfing humanity would lead. It was the need to inform and awaken so that, quote, something could be done. Thoughts of resistance through the original guidelines for continuing the government of the people fueled the process. Oh, I thought that myself too. Unfortunately, government of the people by the people leads to tyranny in quick succession through many small steps, and we are seeing that now. Moving beyond into a new paradigm is the next step in the involvement of the consciousness of humanity. Understanding the ideal of freedom through personal responsibility offers the true solution, is a big jump in perceived reality and would seem more so to the beginning few in accepting this theory as being possible and begin to contemplate it. I'm going to pause right there again and say, yes, I cannot tell you how many people do not get it when I say, I foresee a world without money, and no, everybody to a one cannot figure out how we do that. And I don't see any other way around it, to be honest with you. And it is actually something we've never tried, right? As far as I know. um, so back to the book here. However, the impetus of the alternative of doing nothing during the collapse of the current experiment will supply pressure to consider new alternatives. Lack of personal responsibility within the ideal of elected governing entities will bring the realization of it as the key to success. The weakest link, and in parentheses, muscle, must be strengthened by exercise. It must be given the opportunity of use in order to accomplish this strengthening. This must be the basis of the way out of the present situation to a new beginning. Birthing this concept is next on the agenda. It will be like putting the second large rock into the flow of a fast river in order to divert it into another channel. But once the first rock is in place, then it is time to add the next one so that more water is diverted. However, now there are more available to move that rock. There is a saying in your culture that in order to accomplish any task, it is the willing horse that must be whipped. What? Okay, I've never heard that saying at all, ever. I thought they were going to say something when I saw a horse, like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But so, no. It is not easy for the compassionate driver, but he knows that it is what must be done. Indeed, we bless you, willing ones, in these critical hours of this salvage operation, as you also say. Hang in there. It is indeed worth the effort. And again, I want to, if you're hearing this for the first time, know too that I am in agreement with a lot of what I'm hearing here, but I also see, sense, and feel the person who is receiving this data. There are experiential filters in place for every one of us. And I have even heard Magenta Pixie speak about that. She's very clear that she is channeling another portion of herself. And this portion gives information to her in a manner in which she can understand and then also stretch her a bit, right? And so because each one of us have experiential filters, our languaging will reflect that. Our thoughts and feelings will be tied up in that. So at any rate, that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is just a matter of perspective. And be well, my friends.